Welcome to Catelas Relationship Forensics for Legal. Catelas is the first pure-play early case analytics identification solution on the market today. By pure play, we mean designed specifically to solve the problems inherent in early case investigations rather than traditional e-discovery solution repackaged to fit this new need. Traditional search-based solutions could not deliver on the early case assessment promise many years ago, so it's not surprising that they are failing to do so today. Firstly, let me explain what Catelas is. Catelas can process both email server log files and telephony log files, in addition to native communications such as email, PSTs, NSFs, and IM. Catelas can even display a case loaded into a third-party tool such as Clearwell without reprocessing the data. Log files are taken directly from the Exchange server and hold the metadata of every email in your company. Rather like a telephone bill, they hold the to, from, CC, BCC, and subject header of every email sent or received by your employees and contractors. As you can see at the top of the screen, Catelas then displays this data as a network. We are used to seeing communications data in a list, page 1 of 100, and 100 emails per page. To make sense of such a large volume, we need to search that data. Clearly, the search paradigm fails when you don't precisely know the keywords. In the case of log files, the communications network of the entire company is displayed, showing clearly how information is flowing within the company and out to competitors, webmail, etc. Catelas is unique in that it leverages both behavioral science and social networking algorithms to grade the strength of relationships and activity within these networks. Displaying the data in a top-down manner greatly facilitates the investigative process. And because of our unique algorithms, Catelas is very good at identifying the key people in any investigation, uncovering missing custodians in days rather than months later, and in general cuts the time taken to investigate by 80%, making you smarter earlier. Catelas is literally deployed in hours, does not need to integrate with Exchange Server, and is completely non-disruptive to the business or IT. So how is Catelas used? Rather than rely on keywords and search to find the so-called smoking gun, Catelas first automatically maps all the case communications in a network and using its unique algorithms immediately identifies who are the key custodians, who was initially missed from the original custodian list, and which custodians can be deprioritized or even eliminated. By getting the people part right up front and first time, Catelas significantly cuts the cost of downstream processes and makes counsel smarter earlier. This allows counsel to make better decisions earlier and to more actively drive the 26F meet and confer process. Additionally, Catelas significantly reduces the risk of underpreservation and significantly cuts the cost of overcollection downstream. The Catelas Early Case Assessment Report validates the custodian list, identifies the timeline, and tags content for senior review. In effect, Catelas allows you to know on day one what you would eventually know on year one after many iterations of linear review. Catelas is a single solution that can serve the needs of compliance, legal, and security. Email log files are processed to uncover the entire company network. By simply typing in an employee's email address or the domain of a competitor, the entire network is displayed. The identification and early case assessment process can be conducted fast and without the delay and disruption caused by collecting email. When something is discovered, the selected emails are tagged and retrieved from the archive for more in-depth review. This allows preliminary legal work to be conducted in an exhaustive way, without delay and without the cost, time, and disruption of email collection. This is especially valuable in FCPA, fraud, product liability cases, and where uncertainty exists around the custodian list or where many external parties are involved. To put Catelas in context, the Catelas Identification and Early Case Analytics solution can be used either before collection, where legal counsel simply types in the email addresses of the custodians and their networks are instantly displayed, or after collection, when native emails are processed and the subsequent networks displayed. Additionally, Catelas can be used to cull the content by analyzing the network prior to loading the data into a third-party tool such as Clearwell, allowing you to save on licensing costs. Or Catelas can take an EDRM XML feed directly from a Clearwell, allowing you to view your case both from the bottom up in Clearwell and from the top down in Catelas. To conclude, traditional tools rely heavily on keyword searching, are iterative in nature, and facilitate a linear analysis of the corpus. Such solutions have been rebranded as early case assessment solutions, but are really the same solution with a new pricing model. Bottom line, in 90% of cases, a few months into a matter, counsel discovers missing key people, custodians that should have been identified and collected on day one. With traditional approaches, counsel can only begin to put the picture together after a lot of content has been reviewed and the keyword list fine-tuned. This incomplete picture impacts decision making. If you know you will lose a matter, better to negotiate before opposing counsel realizes what you know. Catelas allows you to easily identify all the right people up front and first time, and follow their relationships to the data, which is tagged for senior review. Catelas is deployed within hours and can map the entire corporate email network, or can process native emails, or can sit on top of third-party tools such as Clearwell to map out the corpus that has already been processed. Okay, let's now show you Catelas in action. As you can see, Catelas is a single solution that can service the needs of compliance, legal, and security. For this demo, we have loaded in the Enron dataset, which allows us to show how Catelas works with some real data. Full disclaimer that all the scenarios we illustrate here are purely fictitious for the purposes of this demo. As you can see, many cases have been set up ranging from legal hold issues, where we are looking to map out who spoke to whom about what and when, to analytics on production request loads, which we have received from opposing parties. There, we want to quickly identify all the key people, eliminate irrelevant custodians, and uncover those missing custodians whose data we will need to request at the next meeting with opposing counsel. Let's take a look at one of our early case assessment matters, IP theft. Here we have loaded the data from 28 custodians. When we set up a case, we automatically build three networks. The first of these is the custodian-only network, which is used to validate the custodians. This first network shows you the direct connections between the custodians and grades those connections, red being the strongest relationship, then green, blue, with gray being the weakest relationship. You can very quickly see that Veronica, Edward, and Tracy are tightly connected and probably work together. Also, you can see that in the bottom right-hand corner, Hector and Doug do not know any of the other custodians. Even if we flip to the activity network, we can see that not a single email connection exists to anybody else. This can guide us to deprioritize these custodians, if not in fact eliminate them. Given that each custodian in an end-to-end litigation costs on average $100,000, we just saved $200K in costs. However, let's say that James Steff is the holder of some sensitive IP, and let's say as part of this litigation we have collected the email from the other side, and we know that Glenn in this other company was in possession of this information. Not alone do we immediately know that not a single email ever passed between James and Glenn, but they in fact have no relationship at all. Without a trusted relationship, James and Glenn were unlikely to have even met outside of work and shared any information, even verbally. So while we have now confirmed that information did not flow directly from James to Glenn, we do know that the information did originate with James and did end up with Glenn. So in fact, the information must have traveled via a third party, i.e., we now know we are missing somebody. This is key. To be aware that you're missing someone this early in an investigation is very important. Our next network will look to answer this question. Who are we missing? Using our filter, we can zoom in on the friends in common between James and Glenn. Our behavioral science algorithms shows that only Jeff Dasovich has a strong relationship with both Glenn and James. In fact, with a right connection to James, he probably works with James. Let's now examine the email flow between James and Glenn via Jeff. By clicking on the link, we can see the emails and view those emails or tag them for review. Before I finish, I just want to highlight that in addition to displaying the email corpus as a network, you can also search the content in the same way you do with traditional tools. In fact, you can even display your search results as a network, displaying who spoke to whom, about what, and when. For more information, please visit us at catelas.com. Catelas, making you smarter earlier.